a chartreuse spinnerbait. I mean, it's crazy how one day or 1 minute they can be just lights out aggressive, and then the next day you can see them all over the place and you can't get one to bite.
Okay, speaking of the different things you use, the thing that so many people have been asking about is that spy bait. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I've caught like 2 bass on one ever before. But I saw at Lake St. Clair the last time we were there, when it got slick and calm, that these fish were chasing shad, and I had a hard time getting them to bite. I caught 1 or 2 on a jerkbait, but I caught a couple on that, and it just something I kept in the back of my mind. I only had a couple of them. I actually lost the last one. My last one right before I came in. These fish right here, they'll take you into the grass with the zebra mussels and cut you off. And, so I only had a couple of them, but it's just something that I thought to try to show them something different. And today with the wind and that it was really hard to fish a lot of bait. The current was backed up, so this was something that was subtle, but it would still draw them up. So today's the day that I made that count. But I mean, in the beginning, it was all about a chartreuse dream shot for me. I mean, if you throw that chartreuse out there, and I mean, they just would see it, and they, obviously run from wherever they're at and bite it. It was just, I mean, I'd pick it up, and they'd be one on there. And I was just fishing as fast as I could, just bomb it out there, let it hit the bottom, shake it once, and move on. And every now and then one would just load up on it, and that's how I caught that 24 pounds the first day. So, I had to mix it up every day. I caught them jerking, I caught them on swim baits, I caught them on a wacky rig ocho, a drop shot shallow and deep on a, like you said, on a dream shot and the new half shell. I mean, I just would show them a bunch of different colors on those fish that I knew where they were at. You just have to, try something crazy, from chartreuse to purple to smoke to natural, just whatever you could do, and then every now and then one would bite it, and that's what Jonathan, we talked about it every day, and that's what he was doing, and today just that wind just really hurt that area that he was fishing. It was blowing hard into there, and I just had a lot of backup areas.
How many areas did you fish?
The first day, because I got off to such a good start, it allowed me to really use that as a practice day too. So I spent most of my day just practicing, and I probably hit 50 stops that day. After the first day, the second day was kind of a struggle. I probably fished more, and just trying to maneuver around. But by the today, I had a good idea of some spots where I knew there was bigger fish at. A lot of times when you catch one, you'd see 4 or 5 more swimming with it, so there's more there. So what I try to do is, if you catch one, let the spot rest, come back, an hour or 2 hours later, let them get repositioned, let them forget about what happened before, and you can catch another one.
Can you put this one, 24 wins, I'm not asking you to rank them 1 through 24, but some perspective on this one in particular.
This one's real special because this is, the area where I fished my first tournament here. It's my 300th bass event. And again, I've never taken anyone for granted. And the older I get, the more I appreciate each one. And you just never know. I mean, I went 5 years before winning 3 times last year. So, I mean, you just don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm still competitive, and I can fish with hang with anybody. But I'm going to turn 50 this year, and there's no question. You look at any professional sport, there's going to be a drop off at some point. But fortunately, in fishing, it's very much about the mental side and the decision-making process. And if you're good at using the history that you have in the past, it can help you. It can also hurt you. I've had it do both, but I've tried to learn from my mistakes in the past and not get hard-headed. My wife tells me all the time that I get more stubborn, and I think it's something that happens naturally. But I try to keep an open mind, and I've been making really good decisions all year long, and I came close to winning a couple times this year, and it didn't pan out, and that was pretty frustrating to me. So hopefully this is a good sign for what's rest to come for the rest of the smallmouth tournaments we got. I love smallmouth. They do really well for me. I know them, I understand them. This is what I grew up doing. It's my favorite fish to fish for. It's my favorite way to fish. And we're going to Champlain next week, and it's good fishery for both. But St. Clair will be dominated by smallmouth, and then Mille Lacs will be dominated by smallmouth. So I've got at least a ton of confidence going into the rest of the season.
What we were looking at, the 90 pounds, is one of the bigger smallmouth winning weights ever. What does that say about this fishery? Obviously.
Well, there's no question. I've fished all 3 events that we've had here, and I've seen it progressively. You can see the difference in the fish. Same size, length. They're just getting bigger. The gobies are steroids for them, and some places it can be difficult for the bass to compete against them during when they're spawning. But there's so much great habitat here with all the islands and flats and all the current. This place is just a fish factory for everything. I mean, walleyes, for perch, for largemouth, for smallmouth, for muskie, whitefish. I mean, everything that comes through here is going to be healthy because it's just a really fertile system.
To come full circle, your first event here, come back here and get a win in your 300.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know, how many places. I've won 3 times on the St. Lawrence River now. I mean, we fished out of Clayton, but I don't know that I've won 3 times in any one place, anywhere. So, it's pretty awesome. Obviously New York's been really good to me. It's over the years. Last year I had Cayuga and Ira River too. I mean, so I really understand how these rivers fish, or how this river fishes. Just from fishing Lake St. Clair and the St. Clair River, the Detroit River a lot. I mean, you have this much current. It really, it's really unique in how the fish use it and position it. So it's something that I've just got a lot of experience on. Just like I say it all the time. Just like other guys are really good at certain things. Maybe the Florida guys are really good at flipping bulrushes and mats and things like that, and the West Coast guys are really good at deep drop shots and things like that. It's because it's what you have to do, and it's your comfort zone. And for me, smallmouth really fit my style. I'm aggressive. I like to cover water. I like to fish fast, and they're an aggressive fish. So it really fits my style where I can fish at my pace, because the hardest thing with smallmouth is finding them. It's not catching them. Once you find them, a lot of times you can make them react pretty easily.
You mentioned home stage, but if you touch on again the tackle that you were using.
So I was mixing it up with a lot of different things. I used 2 different strike king jerkbaits, the 200 series KVD and the 300 series. I kind of used that in between some of these sweet spots that I knew where the fish were sitting, just casting a jerkbait around. I caught several big ones on that throughout the week. I also threw a strike king raid swimmer. Just again, when you know where they're at, I would just show them everything there is. But I put more fish on the scales this week with a chartreuse, blue glimmer, dream shot on a drop shot rig. Whether a 1/4 ounce weight, a 3/8 or a half, just depending on the depth. The first 2 days, I basically caught everything that I weighed in on those 2 baits. Mix it up on some of the shallow fish with the Strike King Ocho, just wacky rig with no weight at all. That one, I caught a 5-pounder late in the day yesterday that really made a big difference and jumped me up there in the standings too. So, and then late in the afternoon, I tied on a spy bait and caught 2 good ones on that, and it tipped me off. Just that's something that I had to do today. I was able to use it and finish it off.
A couple of guys got scared off this week using some kind of treble hook bait, a jerk bait primarily, because
I lost my fair share. I mean, I lost 3 or 4 great big ones today, and that is a challenge. If you can get them on a drop shot, or my favorite bait to catch them with is that Ocho, because with no weight and just a hook in their mouth, they just really can't throw it. I use a bigger hook. Mustad has a brand new wacky rig hook that they just came out with. I just picked him up at ICAST, and I was using it on. I've got so much confidence in the holding power of this hook that I was using it on my drop shot rig and my wacky rig, and I just didn't lose anything on that. But yeah, when you start putting the treble hook baits on there, they're going to come off. It's just the cost of doing business. You got to get 8 or 10 bites to land 5 of those big ones.
There was a lot of talk coming into this about the 100-year high of the water level in the Great Lakes. Did you notice that changing anything for you this week?
I don't think it really did. It may have had more fish shallow because of it. I found I spent a little time largemouth fishing, and it seemed like the largemouth were really easy to target because they were all up in that flooded bank cover, willow trees and things like that. It was just very easy to catch them. Yesterday on the third day, I started off on my smallmouth and I only caught one. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go, because I caught some pretty good largemouth, and I went over there and caught a quick limit in like 15 minutes. And it really just allowed me to relax and slow down and target those big smallmouth, and I ended up culling them all out. But so I thought that the largemouth would be a bigger factor, but I don't think anybody realized how these fish have grown, the smallmouth especially, and from eating all these gobies. Largemouth are just not going to be a factor in the tournament here.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Congratulations.